One. There it goes, I guess.
Yep, we're recording.
Everybody to the call. My name is Steve White. Those of you who don't know me, I don't know Monique, but I've seen her on this show. And there are probably some others. There's my friend Ayana, the Brooklyn Queen out there. How you doing? It's good to be here, and I appreciate Kevin entrusting me with this very important time that you guys spend. So I just want to take a few minutes. Let's begin with a little bit of celebration. Does anybody have anything to celebrate? Wojo, go ahead.
I always have something to celebrate. So
All
if y'all don't raise your hand quick, I'm going to jump on it and hijack it. I taught my first Core de Force live class yesterday, and it was really cool. One of the guys that him and his girlfriend that showed up, I actually got to share my business plan with them. So the live course was just my way of kind of getting him to an on-ramp about what Beachbody was about. You know, and it was really cool and exciting. But yeah, that was cool for me. Something I had not done before, and I've never instructed a fitness class ever. And so I was real happy and glad to get it done. So and she came, my first one. So
I was there.
My biggest critic. She said I did good, right?
Yeah. I have one.
Okay, Callie.
That's awesome, Wojo. I'm a P90X Insanity Turbo and size instructor, so good job. I just wanted to give praise. My husband's back. I don't know if any of you guys have followed me. His back went out on Sunday, and it's nothing surgical, not even, what's the word I'm looking for? Injections. They're going to start with 6 weeks of PT. So I just wanted to celebrate that because that's a huge relief in our life because I was prepared to go head on with, possibly surgery. But so we're going to do 6 weeks of PT and see where we're at. And he's very busy. He's a baseball coach, head baseball coach, and a teacher. So he's very active. So we've got to get through this. So.
Amen. Would everybody be sure that you're muted? There are a few of you that aren't muted right now, so there's kind of some background noise. Just click your little mute button down at the very left corner of the screen. Anybody else?
I've got a celebration to share.
All right, Connie.
I just want to share with the group that I'm really proud this week that I was able to get my son to start working out with me at 17 years old. And very especially because he is on the autism spectrum. So doing new things is very, very challenging. It's very hard to convince him to change. So I'm really, really happy that he's starting this journey with me.
That's amazing. That's great. Hey, that's wonderful. That's what we want is families involved. And a couple of times I've done my little workouts here. My grandchildren will get down in the floor with me, and that's what it's all about. Anybody else?
I have a little celebration. Hi, everybody. I just want to share that we're getting more and more people on our team to submit their results to the Team Beachbody Challenge. Like in the past, we get the results, we hear about them, we see the photos, but, I'm seeing that there's something to tracking the amount of people that actually submit. So we've been really on top of that and increasing in the numbers of people submitting, taking the time to do that piece. So that's pretty good.
That's going to be one of the monthly recognitions from HQ too. About
I can see that, and I believe
how do you track that? Is that on your home office?
I think it was on our annual or semi-annual report that I saw recently that they were recognizing that, and I think the top was 16, and that doesn't seem like too much, considering the fact that our members can submit every single month. I think we can all easily go back to our past challengers and ask them to submit, and that might be, meaty,
There you go. Very good. Anybody else? That's wonderful.
Hey, Steve, did you see Randall's comment on the comments?
No.
Apparently, he has a friend that started at 485 pounds, and he's down to 452.6 pounds due to Shakeology. Way to go, Randall.
There you go. A 21-day fix. That's the plan that helped me. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Randall, for sharing that. Anybody else? All right. I guess I need to start. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. The theme tonight is that confessions of a streaker. I'm sorry, I'm a streaker. I'm not the kind that takes off his britches and runs across the football field at the high school football game. I've never done that. But lately, I have been into some streaks. The most important streak in my life is my wife and I have been married over 42 years.
Whoa.
Jeannie Carroll is a sweet little girl from South Arkansas, and she deserves sainthood to put up with me for over 42 years. But we've been really blessed, and that's something that isn't that easy. It isn't that easy to make it through all of the issues and the ups and downs and the problems that you have from time to time. So I'm really thankful for that streak. Kevin mentioned my Miracle Morning streak. Judy Finneran last year started this thing. She had been on a streak of 100 days or something like that, and so I went out and I bought the book and I read the book, The Miracle Morning. If you haven't read it yet by Hal Elrod, you really need to read it, and you really need to start doing this. Who's got the dog?
Oh.
Monique.
Hi.
Put your mute on there, please. The Miracle Morning. I bought the book and I started it, and today was day number 422, and I haven't missed today. I don't do the savers exactly like he does. I do Bible study, prayer. I do read some personal development. I'm not really big into affirmations or visualization. I need to do more of that, but that's my time, and it goes from 30 minutes to 2 hours sometimes. I'm retired, so I don't have to get into work. But that's one of my streaks, and it's really meant a lot to me because that centers me. That gets my day started right. When I retired, I got lazy. I thought I don't have to have an alarm clock anymore, and that was kind of a positive to retiring. And I looked forward to that. But then I would stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and sleep till 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I'd feel lousy all day, just dragging along. And when I finally started getting up at 6 o'clock and doing my Miracle Morning, that's time that I have on my own. And I recommend it to everybody. My other streak that I'm currently on is I have a customer who last year ran she ran 1,000 miles last year. That was her goal for the year. She had to run a lot in December to get to her 1,000 miles, but she made her 1,000 miles. And then she told me in January that her goal for this year was to do 10,000 push-ups. And that just made no sense to me. That did not click at all to me. 10,000 push-ups. So I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, a year ago I couldn't do 5 push-ups. How can I do 10,000 push-ups? But I got started, and I started doing 30 a day. I do 10, then I do 10, and then I do 10, and I get my 30 in, and then I do the next day and the next day and the next day. Well, now I've done 217 days in a row, haven't missed today, and I've done 8,860 push-ups. I just did 20 so I could get to that number right before we got online here. But I'm going to make 10,000 push-ups if we had an eclipse yesterday, maybe something weird was going to happen. I don't know, but that just freaks me out. I was not able to do a push-up a year and a half ago. And now I can. So I'm really thankful for that. Not only am I a streaker, I'm also a recovering introvert. Hi, I'm Steve. I'm a recovering introvert. I have to be an introvert. I had a crazy childhood. I was raised by my mother. My dad was a military guy, and he fought in World War II at the age of 15. He lied about being 17, and he parachuted into France and fought with the 100th Infantry all the way across France to the Rhine River. And at the age of 15, that kills me. And then he got out of the Army because his mother called the Red Cross and said, "My son's only 15. He shouldn't be there." And so they sent him home. They kicked him. They put him out of the Army. And a year and a half later, he reenlisted legally, and he stayed in the Army for about 14 years. But he had a lot of alcohol problems. He beat my mother. There were a lot of problems that I don't know what the reason is. Maybe it stems back to when he was 15 years old fighting in a very ugly war. I don't know. But I didn't have him. I went to 3 different schools in the 4th grade. I went to 5 different high schools. And I never had any friends. I never had a lifelong friend. So I became a bookworm. I became a TV addict. And I didn't go out and talk to people. I read books and I watched television. And that kind of made me an introvert, I guess. But I'm recovering. I'm trying to get over that. I never thought of myself as someone being disciplined, but I must have been. I must be disciplined somehow. The Army was okay for me. I didn't mind the Army at all because they told me what to do, and all I had to do was do it, and they were nice to me. That's the way it works. But I also did some things. I ran 3 marathons. That takes some discipline, doesn't it, Micah? My best was 3 hours and 14 minutes. That's pretty daggum good. I'd take 4 hours and 14 minutes today if I could do that. I completed a PhD in accounting. How boring is that? I have a BA in accounting. I have an MBA in accounting, and I have a PhD in accounting. That's why I have so much personality. That's a joke. You can laugh. That's good. Okay. And I taught accounting for 40 years. So one of the things that those of you who have been to college, you may realize that most of your professors are introverts. They're bookworms. They would rather read a book than talk to somebody. They would rather sit alone and do anything rather than, like at a party, I'm in the corner. And if somebody comes up to me, I'll talk to them, but that's not the way I am. So I'm kind of an introvert. And one of the things that being in this kind of business is helping me with is communicating with people. I love people. I really do. I just don't know how. I don't know how to talk to people sometimes. And so I retired from teaching. My wife and I spent 5 years in Honduras as missionaries, and that was pretty good. I ran a school that was in financial problems, and we figured out a lot of the financial messes that were there. A school that had been run for 30 years by a preacher. Go figure, it's messed up. We got some business systems installed, and we got some money raised, and we got them back on their feet, and then we came home. And then I I couldn't find a job. That was 2009, and so I retired. And that's when this laziness came about. In about the spring of 2015, I was kind of looking for something to do. And I started looking at businesses, actually. I was thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. So I started looking at businesses to operate. And one of the businesses that I actually looked at was Beachbody, because I thought that's kind of cool. That's kind of a neat thing to help people get in shape, even though I was a big fat blob and was not in shape at all. But then I somehow on Facebook, I got connected with Jim Settlemeyer, that guy that's in this call. He and I were friends over 40 years ago in Arizona. And I found him on Facebook, and we started communicating. And then I found out he used to work at Beachbody Corporate, and then he became a Beachbody coach. And so I started asking him about that. And he arranged a 3-party call with Kevin, and Kevin talked and sort of explained a little bit of it to me. And so I decided to become a Beachbody coach. What I wanted was to get myself in shape. So I'm a veteran. I like that. I didn't have to pay the monthly fee. I bought a 21-day fix challenge pack and got started. Jim did every day with me, and that, to his credit, he was a great coach as far as helping me get to where I wanted to be. Let me tell you about my first day doing 21-day fix. I weighed 253 pounds. I was on lots of medications. I couldn't climb the steps to get to the press box to work on the stats crew at our football games. It was pitiful, and I felt really bad about that. So I got this 21-day fix in. I was so excited. I put it in the DVD player. I turned it on, and have you done an Autumn Calabrese warm-up? The warm-up wore me out. So I got it done. And then, you know what the first exercise is on the 21-day fix? Surrenders. I hate surrenders. So I started doing the surrenders, and I did about 3, and then I fell. And I hurt my knee and my tailbone. But you know what? I was to the point where even if it hurt, I was going to do it. I finished the exercise. And I did 21 days, and I lost 15 pounds. My wife and I were right on target with the food, the nutrition. I drank the Shakeology every day, and I lost 15 pounds. And I've done 8 rounds of 21-day fix, and probably 40 of my 70 pounds came from 21-day fix. So Autumn is my hero, and I didn't like her a lot at times, but she really helped me get to where I wanted to be. So what I want to tell you tonight, that's my story. I've lost 70 pounds. I don't want to lose any more weight. I want to put on some muscle. I want to look like Wojo one day. And then, except for the beard, I'll never have a beard like that. Let me tell you about a couple of things that I've been thinking about. What's this business about? You know what it's about. It's about your why. Everybody has a why. Mine are my grandkids and my family. I want to be here for my 10 grandkids. I want to see them graduate from college. I've got one that's a senior in high school, and I want to be there at their weddings, and I want to see great grandkids someday, not right away, but someday I want to see great grandkids. And how do we get to where we want to be other than the fact that we have a reason for what we do? I don't know who that is. Somebody's not muted. I guess I can mute everybody. I don't know how to do that. Anyway, let me talk about a couple of things. Have any of you ever done anything with Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University? Okay, I recommend it. We did Financial Peace University back in the 2000s. There you go. And I taught a few classes at our church, and it really helped us. And we paid off about $48,000 in 18 months of consumer type debt. And then over the next few years, we paid off our house. So before we came back from Honduras, we were completely debt free. So we could live on little. I mean, you can live on not a whole lot of money if you don't owe anybody any money. So that's what we did. And I'm very thankful for Dave Ramsey. But the way that works is he has 7 baby steps. His whole plan is 7 baby steps. And that's what our business needs to be thinking about. The first baby step is to get $1,000 in an emergency fund, because you get problems come up. You know, your tire blows out. You got to spend $200 or $300 for a tire, or your water heater goes out, and you've got to do it. Well, if you don't have that cash on hand in your emergency fund, it becomes not only a financial crisis, but it becomes something else. It's stressful. So I love that approach. The second baby step is to take all your debts and list them smallest to highest and start paying off on the smallest one. Doesn't matter what the interest rate is, but look at the reasoning behind that. When you start attacking the smallest debt first, what happens when you pay that off? Boom, reinforcement. You've done something good. It feels good to write that final check and say, get out of my life. Tear up that credit card and don't do it anymore. That's the message that I want to get us to think about, is it's not the big things that are that important. It's the little things. We need to be involved in a business that helps people with little things, because we can encourage them. We can help them get the kind of reinforcement that they need in order to continue on. That's for our customers and for our coaches. What if you have a customer who loses 5 pounds using 21-day fix or speech shift shop? What do? Well, what should you be doing? You should be reinforcing that, right? You should be rewarding them somehow, just by attaboy or whatever, to help them understand that that's the first step. How many of you have read what's the name of that book? I just went blank. Darren Hardy. Compound Effect. How many of you read Compound Effect? I've read the chapter 1 of Compound Effect 2 or 3 times in the last couple of weeks, because I think it's the most powerful part of the book. And in that book, he references another book called The Slight Edge. Have you read that? By Jeff Olson. Okay. That's even better for me. I mean, it's really slapped me upside the head, because it talks a lot about things. And basically what it says is just do it. Do these little bitty things and get in the habit, a streak, of doing these things every day. And you can be successful. And Kevin's been reading a book. He mentioned it to us it's a book called Fish. Have y'all read that yet? That's pretty cool too. One of the things that Fish talks about is the first thing you need to do to turn things around is change your attitude, but do it by choosing your attitude. You can choose how you want to react to things. You can choose if you want to be happy. You can choose if you want to be positive. And that's one of the things that Olson talks about in The Slight Edge is your philosophy is what you know, how you hold what you know, and how it affects what you do. So you can choose your attitude. He says, master the mundane. Master the mundane. Well, why doesn't everybody do the slight edge? Why doesn't everybody do the things that the little repetitive tasks that you do every day? Why don't we do that? Well, the first reason we don't do it is it's easy to do, but it's easy not to do. Okay? It's easy to contact 3 people every day and have a conversation with 3 people on Facebook every day. That's not hard at all. Most of us have time to do that, but why don't we do it? Because it's too easy to say, well, tomorrow I'll do 6. Or, oh, I'll catch up on the weekend.
Yeah.
But what happens? Do you? Sometimes you do. But you need to build a streak. You need to get started with a habit of doing that. Why? What's another reason why we don't do the things that Olson mentions in The Slight Edge? Well, one is that the results are invisible. When I started with 21 Day Fix for the first time, I don't remember if I lost any weight the first week. I may have lost a pound or 2. But for months before that, I went to the gym. The first time I went was the first week I went 6 days, and I did 40 minutes on a treadmill. And guess what? I didn't lose any weight. Because then I would stop by and get a smoothie somewhere or go to Dairy Queen and get one of them things, and good things. Them boys is tasty. But we don't see results right away. So one of the examples of that is, why did we eat crap for all those years? We ate junk food all those years. Why did we go drive through McDonald's 3 times a week? Why did we do that? Well, because it didn't make us fat. If I ate at McDonald's tonight, tomorrow, I'm not going to see any bad results. 30 years from now, I may see, well, not for me, but 30 years from now for you guys, you may see results from eating at McDonald's. But the results are invisible. You just don't see them in the short run. And another reason is it just seems insignificant. So what if I miss a workout? I talked to Jim earlier for a few minutes, and he said that he was doing some yoga, and he proved it to me. He showed it. It was on his screen. So I was glad to see that. And I was not going to do a workout today at all because I've kind of got a groin injury that kind of bugs me. And today was a day that I normally get up at 4:30 and go running at 5:30 with a bunch of people. But I'm taking this week off from running. But Jim, even though he's not feeling that great, did some yoga. And I did too. I found a yoga program that was 27 minutes long, and it wasn't real strenuous, and it wasn't a lot of stuff that would hurt my legs, but I went ahead and did it. So what's the problem with missing a workout? Well, what happens? Here's why I have these streaks. I have these streaks because if I break my streak, I don't know what'll happen. I can control what happens if I do it. I can't control what'll happen if I don't do it. I may just start another streak. But you know what my past is based on? Working out that 6 days at the gym in a row and then not going back for 3 months. Anybody else like that? Have you been through that? That constant cycle of disappointing yourself? I'm daggum proud of my streaks right now. I really love the fact that I get up every morning and I do this stuff. Even when we're on vacation, it probably bugs my wife. It bugged Jim when we were rooming together in New Orleans because I'd get up early and sneak out of the room and go down to the breakfast area and do my little miracle morning. But I just can't not do it. I'm afraid that if I don't do it, it'll hurt me in the long run. So what I want to do is I want to encourage you that your old philosophy was that what I do right now really doesn't matter. That's not true. What I do today matters. What I do every day matters. We need to start some streaks. And if your goal is to grow your business like some of you are doing right now because of the Team Cup or because you finally got to that point, something happened, and that's good. And you've started on something, but make it a streak. It's not just a flash that's gone away. You know, yesterday we had a total eclipse here in Bowling Green, and that was so cool. How many of you saw a total eclipse? A couple of you. It was awesome. I saw one in Alaska, but I was only 16 when that happened. You know, when you're 16, it's not any big deal. But yesterday, it was really cool for a minute. You know, when it got dark, it was really cool, and you could look and you could see that circle of fire around the moon, and that was really cool. But sometimes we're a little circle of fire, and a minute later, the fire goes out. And I don't want that to happen. This is a long-term business. I've heard somebody say, I don't know who, but that this is not a microwave business. It's a crock pot business. We don't become successful overnight. We don't become multi-star diamonds like my buddy Brian there and overnight. I told you last week that one of the observations that I've made since I've been doing this is there's something magical that takes place between 3 years and 4 years. That's the point where you know this is going to work or not. And you start learning what you can do and what you shouldn't do. And all of a sudden, you start getting some traction and it starts going. We can do that faster. We can, there are people who become diamonds in 30 days and star diamonds in 90 days and whatever, but not very many of them. Some people make 6 figures in a year. Not very many. If your goal is to make $500 a month, which is a good goal, you just got to start by doing the things that work. And you've been told what things work. 3 conversations a day, every day, 3 conversations, and keep talking to people and keep inviting people to your challenge groups and keep encouraging those people that are in your challenge groups and keep providing positive value on your Facebook page or Instagram or whatever it is. But that's the message I wanted to give you, is that one of the ways you can use my example of being a silly streaker, of becoming a streaker of your own. Just make it a priority to do that every day. Do those little bitty things every day. That's all I got. You got any comments?
I'm the same way, Steve. I'm a very, like, when you asked if anybody was that type of person that would work out, for a month and then fall off for 3 months, I have never been that way. Being a former collegiate athlete, then once softball was over, that's when I thought I didn't have to ever work out again. And I remember the night before I turned 21, I weighed 198 pounds. And stop, babe. And that's kind of when I had to turn my life around, and I had to get committed. And it wasn't until the birth of my oldest son, I went from 160 to 225 pounds with him. And it hurt to walk. I didn't even recognize myself when I looked in the mirror. And 6 weeks after I had him, I weighed 198. And it was in that moment holding him, realizing that he deserved more. And as corny and cliche as this is, there's Debbie Severs on the TV with Slim and Six. And I literally have been doing Beachbody workouts for 13 years now. And I probably have taken maybe 17, 20, like vacation days and not done anything, but I always claim Sunday as my rest day. But I'm like you, if I don't do it, I don't feel like my day has started. I'm the same way with my personal development. Right now I'm reading Good Leaders Ask Great Questions by John C. Maxwell. And it's to the point where I can only take in 3 pages at a time, because it's like, oh yes, So I'm a lot like you in that aspect. But as far as falling off of things, that's probably where my disconnect is with some people, some of my clients, is I don't allow myself to opt out. I don't give myself the option at all. So
yeah, last year at Summit, I met Nikki Reed. Some of you know Nikki Reed, and she's got incredible health problems. Like, she's got MS and irritable bowel syndrome and all that stuff. And she's gluten free. She's practically food free.
Mm-hmm. I'm gluten free too.
She doesn't eat much of anything that would be in the normal diet. And I just asked her, I said, when you really want to do a cheat day, what do you eat? And she said, I don't have cheat days, because she can't. And that's the mindset that we need to get. If we want to be successful in this business, if we really want to help people, if that's really what we're in this for, we won't have cheat days where we don't do anything. We won't have days. Taking Sunday off is fine. I'm not boo-hooing that at all. But there are some things that we ought to make, I've heard the term non-negotiable. And one of those things that's non-negotiable is that I'm going to spend my power hour. I'm going to do my 30 minutes. I'm going to make my 3 comments on somebody's page, or I'm going to start a conversation, or I'm going to invite somebody to next week's challenge group, or whatever it is. We can do that. And we don't need to put that off or stop doing that. And if we do stop doing that, guess what? We're going to be doing something. We're going to be sitting back on the couch at 253 pounds again. And that's what I'm concerned about. I've made an effect on people that haven't come in to join me yet. You know that? But they might next week if I keep doing what I'm doing. They might next month if I keep doing what I'm doing. They might next year if I keep doing what I'm doing. And if I quit doing what I'm doing, guess what they're going to say? Well, I knew that wouldn't last. And it would be our own fault. And I appreciate that, Callie. That's something that each of us has to struggle with. But I just want to encourage everybody to become a streaker and have fun with it, enjoy it. Anybody else?
I'll just add to that, Steve, or back up what you just said, because there's many times where I've had someone come to me 6 months, 12 months, 2 years later, just from me being consistent with Beachbody, with my workouts and whatever. They rejected me or rejected the invite many times, and then they'll come around and say, "Hey, man, I'm ready now." And I know all of us on the call too. There was times where we weren't ready. So definitely the message you have as far as consistency and everything you said is spot on.
Thank you, brother. All right, it's 9:00, which is my bedtime. So I appreciate all you guys, and I hope that you got something out of this. And this community means so much to me. You don't understand what it means to me, because I need you guys. I need every Tuesday night, if I can. I want to be here, and I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate your heart. A lot of businesses say they're here to help people, but I believe this one is really here to help people. I really think that's what we're in this for. And if we weren't, we probably wouldn't put up with a lot of the stuff that goes on. But I just love you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you putting up with this old guy. And thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you, brother. Good night.
Bye.